energy dynamics, how to recognize energy rather than just details. Humans basically have been trained to just look at the practical, the cut on their finger, let's say the imbalance in their biology. Maybe it's something like diabetes. And they look at things like glucose levels and food intake and all these type of practical things, but that's just on a practical level. Sure, it's good to know them, but once you understand the energy dynamic of diabetes, it's pretty simple. It's kind of, I guess you would say, symbolic. It's a craving for sweetness, or maybe love. Craving for some sweet love and attention. Maybe you didn't get as a child, maybe from another lifetime, maybe you're not giving it to yourself. That is the energy dynamic, which subsequently causes an imbalance in the biology, which may be labeled as diabetes. And do you think really just eating less cake is going to help solve that? No. It may kind of slow it down a little bit, but you're trying to crave that sweetness, that love through cake, and then you have to deny yourself of it because the doctor said your diabetic level, whatever it is, 2, you're just going to look for sweetness somewhere else. Not necessarily in cookies or ice cream, but somewhere in life. And maybe you have your diabetes control, but now you're off kilter somewhere else in your emotions. Suddenly you become needy, relying too much on others. You transpose it, you put it somewhere else, that neediness. What about addressing the energy dynamic? Why is this there? As your communications improve, you can literally ask, why is this there? And you get the answer. Not when you're all in your brain kind of communications, but in the true Merlin communications. There's an energy dynamic to everything. There's an energy component, not just to things that are imbalanced in your life or in the world around you, but to everything. When you understand the energy dynamic, then you really start living as a Merlin. I'm asking Caldra for permission to give a little bit of his story, recent thing. He's okay with it, so Caldra just bought a new car. It was about time. And it's a beautiful car, but he was going to miss his old car. It served him well. Got him around, no accidents. Hardly any bumps or bruises, just a few little nicks here and there. Got him around. But he decided to get a new car, and came that whole question, was he abandoning his old car? No. I don't need to abandon it at all. Look, instead of looking at a practical level that you're trading in one piece of metal and getting another piece of metal with wheels, you're just, look at the energy dynamic. So what he did was literally take the energy, the essence from his other car, which he loved, and transferred it to the new car. That's simple. Now, if he went and told this to people on the street, that may think he's a little nutty, but you're going to get to the point where you're like, well, yes, of course. The people who don't understand this, they're going to be a little nutty. The new ones coming in, they may look at you a little odd at first, but then they're going to go, I know, I've always thought that, but I could never tell it to anyone. So what he did was simply take the energy essence from his car, and it got a new body. Same essence, same energy dynamic. Now in a whole new body. Wouldn't you love to have that? Wouldn't you love to just wake up in the morning, you got a total new body, 2021 model? It'll be possible at some point, yes. Look at the energy dynamics in everything, the environment, politics, relationships, your body. Everything is your energy. Everything. But up to now, most of you really weren't looking at that component. You looked at the practical part of it. Look at the practical part. You looked at your bank account and you looked at it and you said, oh, I have $927.42 or euros. Oh, that's the practical part. But look at the energy dynamic of your bank account. Okay, it might be a little lacking. But look at the energy dynamic of why. Why? Well, because you've been giving it away to everybody else. Because you haven't considered yourself worthy. You feel into that energy dynamic of your bank account, and instead of getting all frustrated, say, what can I do to make more money? Feel into the dynamic and then allow the energy to change. Allow it to serve you. Realize, looking at the dynamic, oh, boy, I just haven't been letting it serve me. And now I'm going to. That's the energy dynamic. The amount in the bank, what bank it is, those are practical issues. Those aren't at the core. Those aren't where you affect change. You don't look at your bottom line in your bank account and think that's where change starts. No, it's in the energy dynamic, your relationship with energy. There's an energy dynamic in everything, in your house. You know, it has energy. It has a personality that you gave birth to. Feel into the energy dynamic, not the practical things like the light bulbs that are out and the plumbing that might have some issues, and the fact that the wind blows through some of the windows on a windy day, or none of those things, or that it's in a noisy neighborhood. That's practical. And you're not going to affect change at that level, period. Yes, you can put some tape over the leaky window. You can replace the light bulb, but you're still in the same old energy dynamics. You've got ED. What you do is you rise above that. You feel into the entire issue of your realm, of your domain. You feel into that energy dynamic, and then you're real bold and say, I want it to serve me different. I command my energy to serve me different. Don't be a wimp. Don't negotiate. It's your own energy. Why would you need to negotiate? It's sitting there wanting to serve you. So, dear masters, dear Merlins, we're going to acknowledge the practicality of life in the physical, but we're now going to be addressing the energetic dynamic. That's where the change occurs. Let's take a deep breath with that, feeling into it. Life as a Merlin. It does indeed have some challenges. Challenges being amongst other people who are continuing to feed their addiction to drama and conflict. The challenge is going to be being with people who have almost no creativity when it comes to resolving issues. They would rather fight than fix. That's going to be difficult, frustrating at times. That's when you're going to need to retreat, to go on a retreat, to take refuge, to be by yourself, because Oh, it's going to be easy to get pulled into at first. There's going to be that standing behind the short wall. Don't get into it, really. I'm going to go so far as to throw a little gasoline on the fire here, and this I'll have fun with. The Crimson Circle social media. Wait, look at the energy dynamic there. It's not a place for politics. It's not a place for even saving the planet. It's a place for communicating with, sharing with other masters. I would throw out anybody's post. Calder is correcting me here. I'm not real. I did my first post today on social media. It was through Calder. His fingers did the typing, but it was my post. I'd never done one before. I didn't know if I'd like it or not, but I did. I posted. Calder actually changed it, but I was going to post "Stand behind the fucking short wall," and he just posted "Stand behind the short wall." But I don't know why he took that word out. I thought it was rather appropriate, but that was my first post, and when I did that, it was kind of an exhilarating feeling. I felt it going out there onto the internet. I felt it landing on that place. I felt others then going and looking at it. I decided at that point that I kind of liked this social media thing. But I'm going to always limit myself to 5 words. Maybe 6. 6 words. Stand behind the fucking short wall. It's the only thing I'm ever going to post. Stand behind the fucking short wall. I like doing that. Yeah. Now, I'll have to warn you, Calder might change it. It might just say stand behind the short wall. But you'll know when you read it. Stand behind the fucking short wall. Back to the point. We're going to look at energy dynamics, not the practical. I don't want to see a bunch of political or any of those kind of posts that get you trapped into the combative nature of human nature. Not a place for it. Our place in your social media is the evolving Merlin within. You get trapped in taking sides. You get trapped into the conflict, and there's no place for it. So let's take a deep breath as we go into energy dynamics. It's going to be core to this whole Merlin's guide to embodied survival. Let's take a good deep breath in the beauty of our first Shoud here on the planet. First Shoud in the Merlin I am. And I hope you appreciate that I'm just going to be more and more direct. That way, let's just go from point A to point B, from imagination to manifestation easily without diddling around. With that, my dear friends, we'll be back for more, and especially for our Halloween dream walk of realization. Let's take a deep breath together. I'm staring back at myself from the book Time of Machines, 2020. Staring back at myself in my lifetime as Adamus. It's amazing what Merlin can do. Thank you, dear Shambhala. I am that I am. Adamus of Sovereign Domain.